Taylor Swift's private texts about Justin Baldoni have surfaced, sending shockwaves through both Hollywood and her fan base, as partially unsealed court documents shed light on conversations between Swift and her longtime friend Blake Lively, revealing the pop star referring to Baldoni in harsh terms during a period packed with legal drama and behind-the-scenes tension. The ongoing legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni threw Lively's private messages with Taylor Swift into the spotlight. Exposing the strain and chaos on the set of the film, it ends with us, and offering a rare glimpse into the off-screen turbulence that upended the careers and reputations of several major stars. The controversy ignited in 2024 when Lively, who starred in and produced the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, took the bold step of filing a lawsuit against Baldoni, the film's director, accusing him of sexual harassment, while Isabella Ferrer, who played young Lily, added her own accusations about Baldoni's behavior during production, amplifying the firestorm and intensifying the scrutiny both stars faced. In one of their candid exchanges, Lively vented to Swift about what she called the doofus director of her movie and asked her opinion on the script, to which Swift, always loyal, replied she would do anything for her friend, making it clear she was on her way to Lively's house and prepared to help however she could. Lively praised Swift for her unwavering support, saying she was epically heroic, and reminisced about the time Swift made things up and played along with inside jokes, adding that even with all the chaos, Swift remained the world's greatest friend in Lively's eyes. Lively's legal team insisted those messages lacked proper context, pointing to her later testimony, where she said she'd sent Taylor the script en route to her apartment, simply because Baldoni was there and she wanted an outside perspective, stressing that she made it clear Swift could decline if she didn't want to be involved. Script disagreements became central to Baldoni's lawsuit, with the director alleging that Lively, in her role as producer, overstepped by taking control of the film's direction, while early reports from the set described frequent clashes between the two, especially after Baldoni dismissed Lively's creative input and focused solely on his own vision for his character, disregarding even the suggestions of Colleen Hoover, the original author. Accusations against Baldoni escalated quickly, with several crew members reporting that he fostered a hostile work environment and that a strict list of on-set requirements was enforced, including the presence of an intimacy coordinator at all times, a measure meant to address concerns about safety and comfort during sensitive scenes, but which further fueled the sense of division. Tensions boiled over when Lively claimed Baldoni retaliated by launching a smear campaign against her, culminating in a bombshell New York Times article published in December 2024 that seemed to support her version of events and painted the director in an unflattering light. Just before the article dropped, Swift sent a sharp text to Lively, mocking Baldoni's reaction and saying she thought, "This be asterisk, 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 knows something's coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin," a biting remark that reflected the bitterness between the two camps at that point in the feud. Lively's lawyers acknowledged the text's authenticity, but insisted it wasn't about the article itself, highlighting the complex web of personal and professional conflicts at play. But it wasn't just Taylor Swift who received Lively's unfiltered opinions about Baldoni. Lively also texted Ben Affleck, referring to Baldoni as a chaotic clown and explaining that she'd ended up rewriting and restructuring the entire script herself, effectively directing the movie in the absence of true leadership and dealing with a man who seemed to want to control every aspect of the production, from acting and producing to financing and even overseeing the studio. Among the most disturbing revelations in the court documents were Lively's claims about filming the pivotal birth scene, where she said Baldoni insisted she simulate nudity in a way that had not been previously discussed or agreed upon, a demand that left her feeling violated and humiliated. She recalled requesting a hospital gown for modesty, but ultimately being forced to compromise, agreeing to simulate nudity from the chest down, and described hours spent on set lying on her back in a hospital bed, legs in stirrups, with non-essential crew members coming and going, often with only a thin piece of black fabric for coverage, and sometimes not even that, which amplified her discomfort and sense of exposure. The situation was made worse by the presence of Baldoni's close friends on set, one of whom was acting in that very scene, and another, a financier of the film, visiting on the day the scene was being shot, circumstances that Lively said intensified the humiliation she experienced during what should have been a highly controlled and respectful environment. In the aftermath of these incidents, a representative for Swift spoke out against Baldoni's attempts to subpoena the singer, firmly stating that Taylor Swift had never set foot on the set, had no involvement in casting, creative decisions, or scoring, never saw an edit of the film or gave notes, and only watched It Ends With Us weeks after its public release. Since she'd been touring the world during 2023 and 2024 on her record-breaking Eras tour. The representative clarified that Swift's only connection to the film was granting permission for her song, My Tears Ricochet, to be included, and accused Baldoni's team of exploiting her name for tabloid attention instead of focusing on the real issues at stake in the case. Baldoni, for his part, denied all allegations of harassment and retaliation, countersuing Lively for $400 million, a massive sum that underscored the stakes and bitterness involved, although the judge ultimately dismissed this countersuit in June, clearing the way for the main trial to proceed, which is now scheduled for May 18th, a date that will likely see even more revelations and drama as the two sides continue to battle in court. Subscribe for more exclusive updates on this developing Hollywood saga. Meanwhile, Baldoni's lawyers claimed that Lively had pressured Swift to endorse her revised script even before the singer had a chance to read it, a detail that added to the growing narrative of manipulation and miscommunication that plagued the project from the very beginning. As the legal proceedings continued, more internal messages and call sheets began to surface, painting a picture of a set divided by mistrust, creative disagreement, and accusations of overreach on both sides, with Lively accused of stepping outside her role as lead actress and producer to micromanage every aspect of the film, while Baldoni was portrayed as a director unwilling to accept feedback, determined to impose his own vision at any cost, regardless of the discomfort or concerns of his cast and crew. The drama extended far beyond the film itself, as industry insiders began to weigh in on social media and in private forums, speculating about the impact the dispute would have on the careers of everyone involved, with some suggesting that the fallout could change the way films are made, particularly when it comes to accountability, set safety, and the power dynamics between actors, producers, and directors. At the same time, fans of Swift and Lively rallied behind their idols, flooding comment sections and Twitter threads with messages of support and outrage of Baldoni. While some supporters of Baldoni argued that he was being unfairly targeted and that the allegations were exaggerated or part of a calculated campaign to undermine his reputation ahead of the film's release. The controversy also reignited debates about the role of intimacy coordinators in Hollywood, with advocates arguing that the presence of such professionals should be mandatory in all productions involving sensitive scenes, not only to protect actors, but to create an environment where everyone feels safe and respected, while critics claimed that the situation on It Ends With Us showed how even well-intentioned policies could be weaponized in personal or creative disputes. As more details about the production came to light, including emails, call logs, and behind-the-scenes photos, it became clear that the making of the film was marred by conflict from the earliest stages, with Lively and Baldoni locked in a battle not only over creative control, but over the narrative that would ultimately define the project in the public eye. The inclusion of Taylor Swift in the story added another layer of intrigue, as her global fame and fiercely loyal fanbase guaranteed that every revelation would be dissected across the internet, fueling gossip and speculation about what really happened on set and how the relationships between the stars have been affected in the aftermath. As the trial date approaches, the entertainment world watches closely, waiting to see whether more private messages or behind-the-scenes footage will be made public, and whether the resolution of the case will bring closure or simply raise more questions about the pressures and pitfalls of making movies in an era of instant communication, viral rumors, and ever-shifting alliances.